Hi, I'm Senior Grandmaster Jimenez from Kajukenbo Live, coming from South Lake Tahoe. Today I have two special guests. I got Professor Fred Bell and Professor Connie Bell on the line right now from Fresno, California. And it's going to be a great interview with both of them on the line. How are you guys doing right now?
Oh, we're doing great. Just finished up our evening classes, so kind of winding down for the night.
Yeah, the weather was nice today, so it was cool.
Yeah, it was actually, believe it or not, it's been kind of cold up here last 2 days. The wind's kind of coming up, but Saturday was just blistering hot. But last 2 days, actually today I had to turn the heater on a little bit, you know. But
it's definitely a lot nicer this week.
Yeah.
But we're always ready for what's going to happen. Fresno's known for the hundreds. So.
Oh my God! Last time I went to Fresno, killed me. It was so hot. I had to stay in the room. But so, how long have you guys been involved in the martial arts? You can this is for both of you guys.
Well, we're both young. I think I know at least we have probably 90 years total combined.
Wow.
We both were younger kids. I grew up in the Orange County area. I trained at Parker School out there.
Yeah.
We were the Orange County School in Anaheim, and Connie trained in Selma, not too far from here. And again, it's still it was Chinese Kempo more, but still at Parker system.
Yeah, I know Ed Parker. I used to talk to him all the time.
Yeah, I'm a student of Ed Parker. I never claimed to be I'm a student of Ed Parker's Kempo, I should say. I'm not a student of Ed Parker. There's too many of those guys out there to claim it.
Yeah.
And but my teachers, or my original teachers, were really part of that top of the family tree as far as when it comes to Ed Parker. So, yeah, and the same thing with Connie. Her teachers up there, because she's part of the Bounty.
Oh, Steve LeBounty?
The Bounty lineage, and then I was part more of like the Fred Brewster, Tony Sortor.
Oh.
And they were pretty well known, kind of the original group with Ed Parker there in Pasadena.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Ed Parker one time, and we were talking, and I looked down, and he had this big old gaudy diamond ring on, and I had to ask. I go, "Did Elvis give you that?" And he went, "Yeah, he gave me that." I knew he did, 'cause it was so gaudy. You know, it was a pretty big diamond ring.
Yeah, a lot of good stories about, we only had the same initials, so, when Elvis got something for himself, he got something for Ed Parker, I used to call him, like, father or something in Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, some you don't know, but there's a lot of good ones out there.
Well,
how close they were.
Well, the stories I know about Elvis Presley, when I was in Las Vegas all those years gambling, I heard some pretty good stories, but I just can't say them online on this TV show.
Oh, no, yeah.
But it was...
he had a very high rank, but I think most of what his contribution was just supporting it, and financially and other things. He really loved the martial arts.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think he helped pave the way to a lot of things,
Yeah.
Because of his finances and who he was,
Well, of course.
So, yeah, I mean, I have met Ed Parker a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'm not his direct student. I'm a student of Ed Parker Kempo.
Yeah. So what kind of, compared to your martial arts, what's it related to Kajukenbo?
I mean, I know Jimmy calls us cousins, or like kissing cousins. Sometimes he says, do well. So I mean, obviously the connection is through Chow.
Yeah.
And Emperado and Ed Parker being classmates, and I get to hear some that Ed Parker trained with him as well before he came out to California. So I always heard a lot of negatives sometimes growing up. Though I think it all kind of went away when I talked to Farbach about it, and how close they really were, and Ed Parker and Verado, especially towards his later years. So that was really good for me to have somebody that was in there and around it, say some really great things. And so sometimes you hear stories and you think, oh, but sometimes, a lot of it's just a bunch of stories, So, I feel we're cousin arts. We're basically related. This is everybody went a different way. It's like Walla J in small circle jiu-jitsu, and at Park I'm doing American Kempo, at Parado doing Kajukenbo. We're all related. We're just kind of offshoots of Chow,
Yeah, I remember when myself and Grandmaster Willis used to compete and stuff. I remember the Ed Parker students, they would do their kata, and it would be like nothing like our katas. It was completely different, and I found it kind of a little bit different, but it still looked good. They did good. It just it was different.
Well, I think obviously our advanced katas are all our techniques. They're just techniques blended, kind of like mass attack. But I think all our katas are. I guess weren't always the prettiest ones, but they weren't really always designed for that. They were designed to complement our techniques. They're all our forms are more like training, So we're and same thing with Kaji. We're doing mass attack.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're taught to. That's what the katas do, and our sets do. Working those drills and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're not known for the pretty forms and. And stuff like that, but they get to the point, how to angle change and redirect your body and, counter from one direction to the other. So, and how to do it quickly and properly, right?
Sure.
I think what we have in common, too, is our speed. We have a lot of speed in our techniques and our movements.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess, it's different in the sense because you have a lot of different, your branches kind of break off and some. But I've noticed with Kajukenbo you have more of the soft style of it, or then you have others that are very linear, straight, like the hard style. Then you have the judo, the jiu-jitsu, the judo.
Yeah.
So, and whereas American Kempo, it's really depending. It obviously changes, it evolves, but it's pretty similar from one American Kempo school to the other. Obviously, everybody creates a little different and makes techniques work for themselves. And I imagine in Kajukenbo too, right? Most of our systems are evolving arts, so we don't want it to be stale. We keep moving.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know. Gaylord method is more the harder side. I know.
That's for us. Everything was about speed with mass strikes and quick movements and everything else and. We do a few techniques in one of our katas, and people just couldn't see what we were doing. And then actually with Greg Laguerra, Greg Laguerra was down at a test. I was testing some black belts and came down, and we were doing a technique in one of our forms, and everybody was looking kind of, what are they dancing in the middle of this kata? And then I did it on somebody, and they all both said, I don't remember who else was there, like Greg, and they both go, oh, that's what you're doing, because sometimes we just don't see what we're doing,
Yeah.
So, I think, Ed Parker put it, he had a quote, it was, to see is to deceive, but to feel is to believe.
There you go.
And it's true, right? We can deceive anybody until you start feeling it.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, I see it. Being around, and I enjoy being around the Kempo guys and the Kempo guys. I think you guys really created that Ohana atmosphere more than sometimes American Kempo guys.
Well, some of us.
Definitely, you see it a lot more.
Yeah, some of us, Yeah. But Professor Connie, what about all them tournament trophies that you won that I see that I recognize because I was at the same tournament?
Yeah, I went to all the CKL tournaments. As a youngster, I recall one tournament because I used to go against Joseph Batista all the time.
Yeah.
And he'd win me every tournament he'd win me.
Yeah.
And then finally one day, I won him.
Did you?
So I was so excited I cried when they called me up. I was ready to go get my second place. And they called him, and I was like, oh my God, I started crying.
Yeah.
And then after that, he went to a different division, so I never competed against him again. So one of my goals there was to beat Joseph Batista, and I finally did.
Yeah, I did that with one of Grandmaster Greg Laguerra's students. We were only green belts at the time, but he was like Greg's top fighter. I mean, he beat everybody. They used to call him Crazy Legs. And he was so fast with the legs. And I was the same way. My legs were real quick. In fact, Jimmy wrote a poem about my legs one time. Anyway, it came down from me and him for first and second for the first tournament. And, man, we had that whole auditorium around our ring. And I wound up beating him. And that was probably one of my best trophies I ever won.
Yeah. No, he was good at katas. Let me tell you, he was so good.
Yeah.
That's why when I finally won him, I came to tears.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? The thing is once you beat somebody, you can beat them again. You know.
Yeah, well, I never got the chance to go against him again, but.
Yeah, because you get that edge now. You know you did it, so it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You know.
It's tangible at that point, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and actually, I was thinking about this. I was talking about the other day to one of my grandmasters. Actually, Ron Marchini, Joe Myers, and Leo Fong, mainly Ron Marchini, they're the cause of 80 to 90% of the top competitors that in the past. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we were, because he had the tournaments, he had the rating system, and he so in them tournaments brought out a lot of top champion black belts, and they became superstars out of those tournaments that they threw.
Yeah.
In the day.
I haven't fought Linda Dentley.
You fought Linda Dentley?
Yeah, she beat me, but I didn't care because I scored 2 points on her, and that was good enough for me.
She's like a man.
I don't know any.
I had to do team fighting, and that's when I had a fighter because I was on a team. They put me on a team.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I didn't care that I lost because she was very good, and I got the score, and that was good enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so one of our shows a while back, I was talking about George Chung, and the same thing. He was a top kata competitor back then. I used to watch him when I was younger, and I was like, damn, that guy's so great. And then I wind up in the same division one time as I got older as him. And let me tell you, that was the best second place I've ever taken. I was so proud of that second place because, you know, of course George took first, I took second. And just to be, you know, standing up there with him, you know, after seeing him nationally ranked, you know, and then later on, you know, I got nationally ranked, so it didn't make no difference. But at first, that, like I said, it was the best second place I ever had, you know.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, it's like him.
I think any tournament back in those days, anytime you took first, second, or third, it was a good accomplishment. The divisions were so loaded. I don't know how it was really northern.
Oh.
In Southern California, you went to a tournament every weekend, and then you had 20 people in your division.
Oh, yeah. When I first started,
you know, when it was so big, and man, if you can place, it was a great thing.
Yep.
Go to internationals. I remember in the '80s, we had probably 150 people in the division, lightweight.
Yep.
Division, fighting till 2 in the morning.
Yep. That's internationals.
You remember? You know, I mean, those are the days that you have 5,000 competitors.
Yep.
And you're getting them all done in one day, and 40 rings.
Yep. Well, let me tell you, that was my second tournament as a white belt I ever went to. It was the internationals. I was lucky in my very first tournament. I won a trophy, so I was kind of, I was just all excited, not realizing that the internationals was that big. There was 250 people in my division.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm only a little kid, right? And I'm like, oh my God, look at all these people. It
was, there's nothing really, I mean, I guess there are some tournaments now like that,
Not no more.
Maybe the Paul Mitchell and stuff like
maybe.
That. They go, but, to pull what he pulled off, I mean, Sundays mornings were like a team, and then he had the final Sunday night, but to pull off all that in one day, it's amazing. I mean, I hats off to him and his organization, and the guys that were part of it,
Yeah, we were fighting teams 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning, we're out there fighting teams.
I know. That's fine. Yeah, we might have been standing next to each other. I don't even know it.
Probably.
Because I remember Greg sometimes. Some of the other guys watching them, or maybe even fought. I don't even remember. We all looked so different back then, but I kind of remember that crazy dragon a little bit back in the day. I remember the Kinji guys because they always had the Kajukenbo written on their geese.
Yeah.
And they always kind of.
Well, in the 70s.
Kajukenbo at the end.
What? This is how it was.
The Kinji guy.
This is how it was in the 70s. It was called BKF. And
Oh yeah, well, sorry, I used to fight them in the '80s. I can tell you some stories.
well, let me tell you, in the 70s, you couldn't go to the bathroom in internationals. You get jumped in the bathrooms. The first time I went, this girl comes walking out of the bathroom. Her nose was all busted up, blood everywhere, and it was a BKF fight. I went in there and they beat the hell out of her.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, there's a lot of great guys that I know. They're great people, but yeah, I mean, it was a bad time. It was a bad time in the country, you know. So, but yeah, we had some clashes a few times with the BKF people.
Yeah.
But you know, I remember I heard a story about that. You know, that it was brought up. I don't know if it was Bob White. I can't remember who was talking about it, but there's something about how, you know, they were talking to the Standards and those guys about, man, your guys are just out for blood all the time. You know, they really want to get it. You know, and a lot of the guys from OC, we just want to, you know, we're just having fun trying to compete.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of what he said. He goes, you guys doing it for fun, you know, in Orange County, but my guys in LA and Inglewood and South Central, they got to do it to live.
Yeah.
You know, and you have that mindset. It's just a lot different, you know. When you come out and fight, man, you're fighting.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, every time you know, certain schools like that, you gotta really put your, you know, get the A game going to try to survive through this, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I remember I got in a big fight with another guy one time, and yeah, I was actually in Culver City. You know, a lot of tournaments in Culver City, and that was a tough day.
Yeah, it was, and let me tell you, when I seen this happening, I'm thinking, oh my God, you guys be kidding! People had to get like escorted to the bathrooms to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. I remember there was a big brawl one year. I can't remember what year it was. We had a big riot.
Well,
at the International. I think Greg was there. I remember Greg was down there.
Yeah.
I was sitting up on the upper tier, and I remember I was going, man. It was nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were just going at it, you know, but it was a lot of tension, you know. I mean, tension was really high.
Well, back in the 70s, you know, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this, but what it was, if you were from Northern California and you were white, don't go to the bathroom. You better get an escort to the bathroom.
Yeah. I mean, I can say it was tough times. Unfortunate.
It was crazy.
You know, I don't remember it being like that in a sense. I know when
it was in the early 70s. It was crazy.
Later 70s, I guess, when I started going to the first ones.
Yeah.
But I think I ended up going to, even with the modern ones, maybe 12 or 13 international total.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a requirement, you know. You're in a Kempo school, you had to go.
Well, especially Ed Parker.
You know, it was like, I remember, I think it involved like something in the fact that, you know, practice for the international was the day after international.
Uh-huh.
You know, that was a tournament. That was a tournament we got ready for all the time. The same thing with our school. We got ready for international.
Well, of course. Yeah. That's
that was it was an open tournament, but you know, it was definitely, you know, there was a lot of Ed Parker Kimpel there.
Yeah.
Kimpel was there, you know.
So I hear you guys are going to throw a tournament in October. How do you think that's going to come out?
So October 9th. It's going to be it's a town a little bit above us, or down south, in Selma. I think it's called Rumble in Selma. I think it's called, right? Rumble in Selma. Yeah. So actually, Jimmy Willis was holding his tournament in October. We really weren't thinking about nothing this year, but then we said we kind of got together and said, hey, let's just do it together this year.
Yeah.
So we partnered up. We've already got the hall already reserved. We're working on, you know, custom medals and awards.
Sure.
It's going to be nice. It's going to have to be a little different in the sense that the hall could hold maybe 300-400 people. So, but there's an outdoor part that could hold probably 700-800.
Wow.
More just sitting area. So we're going to be rotating a lot of people in and out. I think we're going to keep it on a really tight schedule. So, and we always seem to get a lot of first timers at my tournament.
Yeah.
So we always.
Well, I think you guys are going to have a big tournament because there's no tournaments.
I think so. I think it's going to be really big, but
I do too.
People will be really patient and work with what we're going to try to do to have people staging outside, you know, practicing outside, kind of waiting outside, and then when we and it's in a revolving. The divisions that get done, they're done, and then we bring another group in. Once the first timers are done, they'll fight and do forms. Most of the parents leave anyway.
Yeah.
In my experience, then we're gonna go to weapons and kata, and then
Sure.
do the kumite and stuff like that. We'll have I don't know if we'll have team fighting, but we do like modified kickboxing, which is really popular around in this area. Weapons, open weapons. Yeah, so I've got a lot of people asking me right now to get it going, because we've had probably one of the biggest tournaments in the valley. You came to the one out there.
Yeah.
And it was pretty packed. We had probably 300 plus competitors.
Yeah, it was good.
And for Central Valley, that's not too bad.
No, it was great.
And so, it's just, we always hope that, we get enough people to help judge, and it moves fast, but you know how that goes.
Well, I always said, I go, the first person that throws their first tournament is probably going to be a pretty big tournament, because everybody's going to can't wait to get out there to the tournament scene again.
Yeah, well, there's been one before us in August. It's in Hansford. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I've already getting a lot of people excited, and let's get it going. I don't know. I think and Jimmy kind of really had never done one out here in the valley, so we kind of worked off the same kind of the way I do it. It's you have to be fair for everybody. I don't try to blend divisions. We have a division. It is what it is. If there's one fighter, then they can win it, but they still have to fight somebody. They'll fight up. And you can't just you're not going to get a trophy just because you show up and there's nobody else in your division. You got to work for it. And I don't, like I said, I've been at tournaments where you have a 9-year-old yellow belt fighting a green belt because that's just not fair.
No, exactly.
So I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
So we have, and I think people know that we do a fair tournament. We give good awards. We keep our prices fair, and then we get a good turnout.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, and we keep it consistent. And we've had, I've done 10, 11 tournaments.
Yeah.
And then this one will be our one together. And then next year, Lord willing, we'll do one in February, which is the one I usually do, and then Jimmy will do his again in October.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
yeah, I used to in the '80s. I used to throw 2 tournaments a year in the '80s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did it for like 10 years straight, and then I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, well, people don't realize how much work it is.
Yeah.
How many hours are involved? Not just that day, but the hundreds of hours you have to put in to get ready.
Yeah, and plus you have to go to everybody else's tournament too and support them, because if you don't go to their tournament, they're not going to come to you.
Yeah, well, there's none at this point. Now August will be the first one out here in this area, and then there's been some out-of-state ones. We're going to be heading up to Vegas pretty soon in June, end of June.
I'll be there in July.
And then the international, they're doing kind of a different international. Still going to be in Long Beach, so they're trying to bring it back again. So we'll see how that works out.
What is it on this coronavirus? Let's go there. How bad did it affect you guys?
Oh well, yeah. Well, it cost us our school. We closed down. We went from 110 students to 30.
Yeah.
In a matter of months. I guess it wasn't that way everywhere. There was a few other schools, maybe in the town of Clovis, which is kind of east of here. Clovis kind of just stayed open. They remained open.
Yeah.
And I try to follow the guidelines that the state put in front of me. I did exactly what they told me to. And unfortunately, it cost me a business. I wasn't going to be that guy that's going to sneak through the back door.
Yeah. Well, plus
cause the child to get COVID and give it to the grandparents and cause death. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. My friend, she takes martial arts over there at a Muay Thai. Of course, I don't know the name of it, but he never once closed up, and she said he was completely packed. And I got very angry at her because she went there, and I said, you're he's wrong. I go, because she goes, well, nobody really got sick. I go, how do you know? And plus it only takes one person to get it, or that one person to die. Was it worth keeping open for that one person to die?
Yeah, I couldn't live with myself thinking
No.
that. So we followed every guideline. Once we opened up again and they shut us down again, then we went from there to, okay, we can teach outside, so we taught at a park for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city started closing that down because they put curfews on the park. We had to be out of there before 7 o'clock, so that was costing me. They were closing down the parking lot, so I was like, okay, so then we started teaching outside, but then winter hit, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's what I told Grandmaster Willis, like, what are you doing? It rains. And he said, oh, nothing.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, what's good? So, I ended up converting the garage,
Mm-hmm.
and it's worked out really good, you know?
Well, I've seen some
So, I mean,
pictures. It looks really nice.
Hopefully we'll wait through this a little bit. I mean, we're obviously supposed to start opening up in June,
Yeah.
but not completely because they're already saying there's going to be restrictions and guidelines that aren't. But we're going to see, you know. I mean, we never know what's going to happen in the States if they flip a switch again and we're shut down. So
Yeah.
before I invest in a building or something, I'm going to wait it out and may wait till spring of next year, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, you know, at least you guys, you know, have, you know, a lot of class by following the guidelines. Like I said, you know, the people that stayed open,
we did exactly
I have no respect for them whatsoever. None.
Yeah. We did everything they said we did, and shut down like they told us we did.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought it was going to be 2 weeks, and it became, 6 months?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we opened for a month, and then they shut us down again. So, yeah, we tried everything we could, you know.
Yeah.
But financially, you know, it drains you.
Oh, yeah.
You still have to be paid.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I mean, even now for myself, I got the shot, but when I go to the store, I still wear the mask. I put the mask on my children, and we get in the car and we put the lotion on our hands and stuff. You know, I still do it. And there's a lot of people now that's not wearing the mask, but I just can't take that chance.
Yeah, no, I understand. And we both have been vaccinated too, but we started not wearing our masks when we teach, and I kind of gave it an option to the families, and so a lot of our teams will wear the masks, but then there's others. Now I've got teams that we have they're both been vaccinated now. Right?
Yeah, that's okay if you do that.
15-year-olds that are both. So I mean, so I'm okay with it. I tell people that, you know, I still have adults that are completely vaccinated.
Yeah.
So they still want to wear the mask. So
I personally couldn't work out with a mask on. I go through the grocery store. I think I'm gonna pass out because I can't breathe.
Yeah, that was us, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, you're so restricted, and then I've got kids that are all like, you know, they're rolling their eyes up in their head. We did Zoom for a long time. We did that for a long time, but it started out great, and then it just kind of dwindled, and kids got tired of it, you know. So, yeah, you know, but you know, it's crazy because we're getting a lot of phone calls. Parents are ready to get them back in. This week alone, and it's been unreal how many calls we've been getting. The classes are growing.
Oh yeah.
You know, probably over 40 students again, which is great. But we still teach 4 nights a week. I teach morning class, a morning group that I've been teaching for years. They still come in.
That's good.
Yeah, you know, my diehard students stayed with us. You know.
So let me ask
a lot of new ones.
Let me ask a question. This is a good one for you guys. How is it, husband and wife, teaching and working out together?
It could be fun. Yeah, I think
it works out.
Yeah, it does. I think part of us, we're kind of like yin and yang sometimes, or like.
We're Mr. Miyagi and Cobra Kai.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi.
So she can be the firm one. I'm kind of the technician. You know, I kind of break down things a little more than maybe she does sometimes. And she likes to get that physical going.
Good.
Hard drills, this and that. But I like to take the techniques and break them down. And so that's kind of the way we work. It works good.
Yeah.
Parents like it. I guess she'll be the harder one in front of class, and I'm the kind of easygoing guy trying to just show them a technique or something. You know, so it works good.
I know. A couple of my wives, they made it a black belt, and they were pretty. They were pretty good fighters, and like me and her was spar, and we'd go at it. We didn't hold back, but she's, and, well, of course I held back a little bit, but she's wailing, and then, and then all the way home she don't talk to me. The next day she's okay, but she's the next day she's like, you gave me a black eye.
We never really fight each other.
We don't fight each other. We used to, but not anymore.
Yeah, I still like to spar once in a while, but and I'm not saying I never get to that point where I think, I'm too good not to fight my students. I'll fight them, but at 60 years old and I've got, pins and this and that, it gets hard on the body.
Well,
and so you can control a kata, you can control drills.
Yeah.
When you're fighting, you can't control what your body sometimes does because you lose track of what you're really doing.
Well,
so I need to get up in the morning and teach again. So, but I still like to get out there and fight the kids. I have fun with it. I fight the adults once in a while. Well, so I'm not at that point where I think I'm too good not to.
Yeah. Well, I always spar with all my students, other than adults and stuff like that. But now, I don't know if Grandmaster would have told you, but I need both my hips replaced, both my knees. I mean, I can't even put my socks on. My 7-year-old son's gonna put my socks on.
Well, my wife can tell you those.
Yeah.
I haven't had the hips yet. They hurt. But I have my right knee replaced. The left one was due, but I'm kind of holding off right now. The hips are starting to give me a lot of drama. It's just part of the. I tell that the parents are like, oh my God, is that going to be my child someday? And I go, well, no.
Yeah.
We fought a little different back then too, didn't we?
Well, yeah, exactly. Back then, I mean, we fought for blood.
I mean, I've had my nose broken 3 times.
Yeah.
And oh man, I cracked my eye socket. The heart went big.
I mean, this is a funny story. I was fighting. I was only a purple belt, and I fought in Ernie Reyes' tournament the weekend before, and I took first place. And then I fought at the California State Championship. I mean, you remember, there's a lot of people, right? So my first fight, and we didn't wear hand pads. We just wore, hand wraps, mouthpiece, and a cup. Well, anyway, I broke my little toe. And I remember I hobbled back to it was at the Oakland Auditorium. I hobbled to the stand. I said, Mom, I think I broke my toe. And it's hanging straight down, my little toe. I mean, it's really pointing straight down. Instead of like the mom going, oh my God, she goes, let me see that foot. And she tapes it up real fast. She goes, get your ass out there. You got 2 more fights. So I was like, okay.
That wouldn't have been mine.
Yeah, and people all started laughing around her, but that's the way it was back then. There was no, oh, poor baby. Get your ass back out there.
I know, yeah.
Yeah. So
I still like fighting without the gloves.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do it.
I'm not one to really, I'll work with the kids, trying to have, I like to, get to where I have them find the targets.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tap them in the side of the head if I know their head's down all the time. That's about it anymore. I'm not going to sit there and pound them.
Well, you can't.
I'm a different story.
Yeah.
I'm a different story.
No. I'm kind of that one. I want to. Everything has to be a lesson, right? I mean, we're always trying to teach.
Well, I'll say this: if you train the children, even the adults, the way we got trained in the early '70s, we'd be in court every day, getting sued.
No, I know. Yeah, I tell that to parents, and some of my parents go, "Do it." I go, "I can't."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's child abuse now. The way our teachers used to hit us and go at us, and but I mean, I think we still know. We still try to. I think we still have that 70s 80s mentality sometimes, and we want the kids to I think that's one thing that I see when I've got some other new kids now that came from another school, and
mm-hmm.
I mean, one boy was there for 2 years. He can't even hold his hand in a punch.
Yeah.
He can't kick.
Yeah.
He kicks his foot like he's kicking a soccer ball.
Oh, it's sad.
And within 2 weeks, the parents are going, I can't believe I wasted all that time and money.
Yeah.
And I go, I mean, and so I think that's part of what we can give them too, is that, we're showing them, proper. I think what's happening, and I see it a lot, is that people forgetting, it's more, I know obviously, the child development and being respectful, this and all comes with it, but they're forgetting the part about teaching them how to defend themselves.
Yeah, exactly. What's a money thing? It's a money thing to you now.
Wasn't it the martial arts about? It's about, obviously, it's a part of learning how to defend yourself.
Yeah.
And it's gone away. It's about, they got to play for an hour in karate class and throw hoops at each other for 15 minutes. And I even had the kids, is my mom going to come up and hold the bag and throw it at me? And I'm like, no. I mean, it's just not, and that's what they're used to,
Yeah. Well,
and then actually exercising the warm-ups, and they're actually sweating, and they don't say, well, we didn't sweat at the other school. And I'm like, okay, because you didn't do anything.
I heard that before. Oh, my kid come home all sweaty. I'm all, yeah. He's supposed to.
Actually hit you? I go,
yeah.
They're told they're not allowed to hit each other. And I go, okay, well, it is bad. It's, like I said, I tell parents when he's actually going to hit each other. And I go, yeah, I always compare it to like shadow boxing. You can only shadow box so much before you got to get in the ring with somebody. You're never going to learn how to box right. You
have to learn how to take a hit.
Exactly. You got to learn how to punch. Yeah, you're right.
Our kids, but we get them in there right away and have them start sparring. And a lot of the beginners will just spar us, but then then they'll start mixing with each other a little bit. But it's just like the same thing. And I think pretty much the same thing in Kajukenbo.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all brought up the same way, right? Getting inside it and getting going.
Well, let me tell you.
So it's part of our system is to fight.
Well, let me tell you that I took other styles before I hit Kajukenbo, but when I first hit Kajukenbo, that's what I really wanted to do. Besides the other ones, the first night I went, I was only a kid. I came home. I had a cracked rib. My lips were all busted up. I had a scratch from one side of my chest to the other. My eye was almost closed. That was the first night of my class of Kajukenbo. That's how hard it was back then. And I came in and my dad's all, oh my God, you got jumped? What happened? Nope, karate, Dad. And then of course I couldn't wait to come the next day, but then I've told this story before on a podcast, because I wore my Kung Fu uniform to a Kajukenbo class the first night. I didn't know any better. So it was like the lamb walking into the lion's den. Everybody's licking their chops when I walked in. So they couldn't wait to kick my ass, and that's what happened, So the next day I'm all, Mom, I have to have a uniform. I can't wear this uniform no more, from the other studio, Anyway, the last question I'm going to ask. You what?
We say we have lessons we learn sometimes,
Yeah, well, Gaylord, Grandmaster Gaylord, this isn't a black belt class, though. If there is no blood, we didn't leave till somebody bled.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like a Friday night when we would spar Friday nights at my school, and it was intense, man. We were going at it, but I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's the part we really can't get to. I have to always kind of pull see ahead or keeping the kids away from the headshots right now.
Yeah, little kids. Yeah, well,
adults like that. I mean, you need to keep the students.
Well, Gaylord was kind of crazy anyway.
Change, it's definitely a change in that sense,
Yeah. So the last question, this is for both of you. Both of you can answer this too. I'll get a question for both of you. What do you see the Bell family and the Bell Martial Arts Studio in 10 years?
I don't know. I hope I'm just on my rocking here. I don't know.
Well, right now we're training our son.
Yeah, I hope they take it. We've had other kids between us. We have 3 other kids, and they've all done martial arts, but never really wanted to go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And I try to honestly I keep out of Hunter's training for the most part, because I was so hard on his older brother.
Yeah.
And so I kind of stay away from it, and because I mean some of the stuff I have to, but for the most part I let her do it all, because first of all it's just like you're 2 people pulling in different directions. And so I'm hoping he'll want to keep the name going.
Oh, sure. How old is he now?
He'll be 9 pretty soon.
Okay, in 10 years he'll be 19. Yeah, he should be okay.
I hope so, but he's trying to get into a leadership role.
Yeah.
A little bit, even with his age, but we still have to kind of. But then again, he wants to play with all these kids that he's that age with them,
Well, 8 years old. I kind of work.
He'll be going to junior black belt probably in December.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, my son, he's 7 now, but when he was like 3, I would work with him. I think I still got a video somewhere. I'd work with him on the backyard in the bag, punching and kicking, and he got it down really good. But the problem I had is when I take him to like the McDonald's playground, and the other little kids his age, when they go play, he thinks it's sparring time, and next thing you know, pow, he's fucking punching him right in the face. And I'm like, oh my God. So I just kind of stopped, because he was doing that, and he brought it into school and stuff, so I had to, stop him. I just kind of stopped for a while. And then,
Yeah, this is the longest he's not competed. I mean, Hunter's always bad since he can walk. Well, he was 2 years old.
Almost two.
Almost two. I think he was even 2 years old yet when he actually competed for the first time.
wow, that's good.
And he was in, I had to modify his gear because none of it fit. And he was in pull-ups, actually fighting.
Yeah.
I remember his first fight was with Junior Salanta's son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were both first-timers, and I don't know where we were at. Was it
It was at
Jordan?
Julio's.
Oh,
Best of the best.
Best of the best, I guess. Before, I think that's when I met you. Really, the first time was at
when I fought in that tournament.
That tournament.
Yeah, I fought.
Yeah, we didn't fight. I ended up fighting Yankee, and I fought Greg.
Yeah.
And I know you fought one fight. And,
Yeah.
well, it was good. It was
Well, you know, I don't know why I even fought, because I had retired already 23 years. I haven't fought in a tournament for 23 years, and Greg's on. I want to fight in the Masters division, and I was like, sure. So then I had nobody up here in Tahoe to spar with, so I'm like, well, shit. So I start calling around, and people are, oh no, I can't spar with you. Oh no, oh no, you know, like I was gonna hurt them. So then I said, well, I'll just make a joke out of it. So I'd go up to Mount Blue, and I'd sit in the jacuzzi, you know, I'd take a video, and I go, okay, I'm working out now, you know, just like, you know, messing with everybody, you know. So, and then I don't know if you knew that morning I had to be in San Leandro because my cousin had passed away, and I was a pallbearer. So I did that, and I came from Lake Tahoe, and I did that, and then shot over to Tracy and fought in the tournament. You know, but
wow.
It was fun. I mean, I had a fun time, you know. I mean, that was first time in a long time, you know.
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
I know. Yeah, me too. I don't want to link fight anymore. I was thinking about doing forms again this year. Well, if you go to the internationals,
Yeah.
they're going to have that 16 older division now. It's calling me. You know.
Yeah, I would probably do forms if I knew my legs I wouldn't give out, and I couldn't do it now. I'd have to have my hips replaced. I mean, now I could. I know for a fact I couldn't do it. You know, I'll just embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass myself. You know, that's what Malaya DeCoscos told me. She's all Tony. She goes, go out on top. Don't never come out and embarrass yourself. I said, okay.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, I mean, I don't worry about all that. I mean, I think I had a good run when I was younger, and then when I moved out here to the valley, I was winning the katas and fighting and stuff. So I'm okay with it. I don't need to have a bunch. You know.
Nah, just you know.
I've had enough. I think I've had enough. Now, like I said, we spent years collecting plastic, and now I'm collecting metal parts. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now you got. Well, all three of you guys, between you, your wife, and Hunter, you guys got kind of trophies all over. You know.
Yeah,
Hunter's room is
he's outdone us, man.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You know, I think back in the day, I would just do kata and fight. That was it. I didn't do weapons. And now he'll go into 5 divisions every time.
Yeah, I did that when I was in my prime. I was doing 5 divisions, sometimes 6, and you remember there was a lot of people. And I would change, especially in the forms, I would change my uniform to a different uniform for each one of the things. And,
yeah, I gotta go white. So, you know,
yeah. Al Novak should tell me, oh, just wear that one. I said, no, I'm not wearing that one. You know, but anyway, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, I appreciate yourself and your wife doing this interview. And I want to thank you. And I'm Senior Grandmaster Jimenez from South Lake Tahoe. This is Kajukenbo Live. If you want to see the interview for the Bell family, just go to Kajukenbo Live on YouTube, and you'll see it. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for having us.